Kasturi, tell us something about how you started preparing for UPSC. What has motivated you towards UPSC Civil Services?
Uh, when I was growing up, I had this was a childhood dream. I had this dream since the day I did not know, like I did not understand what this exam is about or what exactly work one does after qualifying, or what is the work of an administrative officer, or for that reason any kind of civil services. The motivation behind this has been firstly my father. He is an administrator, and I have looked up to his life. It gives a sense of self satisfaction to him when I have saw him while growing up, when he walks with people, blessings, the gratitude, and we see smiles on the face when he serves them. So I kind of had this dream. Actually, I didn't understand what was civil services. I had this dream that I need to get this feeling myself. One day I need to understand what exactly he is going through by personally feeling that at an individual level. And then I think a motivation, after I started understanding things, I grew up, I completed my graduation. The decision actually finally took place after I finished my BTech. I am professionally, I am kind of a, I need diversity, and we can say that adventure in profession, that different kinds of opportunities. I love technology, it's my background, but administration is something that will let me work in technology, in health, education, a lot of social issues, and somewhere or the other, science obviously takes place. So, uh, especially for the diversification, the multiplicity in opportunities that this service provides was on a professional level, that was an inspiration and motivation.
So basically, it was the motivation was all around you. Yeah, your father
Yes.
is a civil servant, so naturally, it has begun from home only.
Yes.
Kasturi, you are a working professional. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And there is always a kind of a hitch in the minds of many students that if we start working, then it will be very difficult to prepare. But you are a working professional and you have cleared this examination. So tell us something about how did you manage? How did you balance between the two?
Firstly, I'm thankful and blessed enough that co-workers were quite supportive. They never bombarded with a lot of responsibility or strict timelines with me, and it definitely gets difficult for those who are in like strict timelines and extreme work schedules, like 13-14 hours a day. It will get difficult to find time, but thankfully I could. I mostly focus on it. It does it feels difficult to find out time after all the work and responsibilities, but I kind of figure out schedules and timetables that I never set like daily targets. I had weekly and monthly targets. So get into a balance. And not necessarily I need to study for the exact amount of hours every day. There was no timer or strict timeline for me. I decide that I am going to finish this part of the syllabus or this particular test or anything for that sort of matter within this week. So I take maybe someday I get more time, and I indulge more hours in studying, maybe 7-8 hours. Sometimes it gets into 4-5 hours, sometimes it gets into 1 or 2 hours, half an hour a day. That happens, but always filling the gaps is necessary. If one day has been a little restful, the next day could be a little difficult, then the next day can be a little restful. And that all sums up during exams. I did take leaves and fully, when the prelims and mains are nearby, fully start get into preparation. It's all about balance, and
Yeah, life.
obviously the working environment.
Yeah, of course. See, the whole life is all about balance. Yeah.
Mm.
And yes, like you are a computer engineer from NIT Rourkela. So there was some kind of a inspiration in the college also. Or did you have some kind of a peer group in the college who were also preparing for civil services? Because that is something also which motivates you from the college also.
Honestly, ma'am, no. Actually, engineering colleges, especially the one I was in, they are not very. At least we don't find an ecosystem or a peer group. where we like prepare together, or someone we look up to, and of that sort. Engineering does, in a sense, I think that helps in the sense that we learn a lot of time management. How do we take all this, the stress of a lot of syllabus? We finish that before exams, and the same thing I was talking about. Every day will not be the same, like different
Yeah,
fingers of a hand. Engineering taught me a lot of that. We don't need to only think about a particular aspect of life in a particular day. We do conduct a lot of events and the exams. So the balance that came from my background, and I think engineering gives a in my college, particularly in NIT Raurkela, there are two different fields which like students look up to. First is either go into a high package career. A lot
yeah.
of opportunities in that. Like my final year was filled with like, am I losing on something? Am I taking the right decision and not sitting into placements?
So did you
Not
sit for
looking
the
into.
placements? So did you sit for the placements?
I was clear in my head that I need time for preparation. The high package careers also come with a lot of responsibilities, and I was not willing to sacrifice 10 12 hours of a day into work to hamper my studies. Work was primarily, I'm privileged that I never had the problem of financial security. Work was mostly to divert my mind when I need some time for myself, some different
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
not to completely indulge into one thing. So I like externally applied to a startup, and hence I chose that myself based on how much time I need to put into that and what expectations they set for me. And
So
yes, so
initially you did not sit for the placement, but eventually you were a working professional when you qualified it. Yeah. So
yes.
for first, I think 1 year or maybe 1.5 year, you just prepared for the exam. That's it. Dedicatedly, you prepared for exam, and I think that after that you might have picked up the job, and then you were balancing both the sides. Am I correct,
Uh,
Kasturi?
Ma'am, the work job has been since 2019, since the next month I graduated.
Uh-huh.
But yes, I'll give the credit where it is due. Everyone has been very supportive. My environment, I have been extremely lucky in the sense when I need to study and I need to work. And
Mm-hmm.
in the meantime, also thankfully, I decided not to give the 2021 attempt after the 2020 results came out. There were only like 9 to 10 days after the result for prelims. I was not in the right state of mind, and I gave the my state public service commission exam. And I'm also currently under training as
Okay.
the Odisha Administrative Service.
Uh-huh.
And yes,
So, Kasturi, you are an engineer. Of course, you are a civil engineer. Sorry, you are a computer engineer.
computer
So,
science.
computer is not a subject for mains. Yeah, but you have opted for sociology. Yeah, what prompted you to choose sociology?
Ma'am, first thing back of the mind, I was sure that I don't have this subject as my option. So anyway, I need to decide on something. I like took into account all the subjects that were available, the options. And one thing I was sure of is either I need to, if I am going for science optional, I need to go for maths because
Yes.
others are too technical and I don't have the graduation knowledge for the subject. Otherwise it's going to be humanities. In the meantime, I decided that I'm not going to Delhi or taking a classroom help exactly, and I'm going to do self study. So that was a decision and something that the syllabus can be over soon, and then I can like hop on to more practice and refining of my knowledge. Maths does not give that like relaxing environment because the syllabus is so large,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, yeah,
huge.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's where I like concluded that I need to go for humanity. And there are a lot of options in that too. I liked political science, public administration, sociology, the subject, even the topics. Like the first time we look into the syllabus, the topics look similar and familiar, nice. So I like took up some NCRT books of class 11 and 12. Then still this decision is like very confusing and it was very difficult for me. I took like 2 3 months to only decide what optional should I take up. I last in the end I like talked to certain like senior officers and also seniors who from my state who had qualified earlier. lot of them had one thing in common, was they had sociology optional. So I thought that, and then at the end I decided, when you think of like appearing for this exam, एक बात तो है that बहुत like we need to give a lot of time and lot of courage, determination, hard work to this. So irrespective of the like optional I choose, it will take a lot of effort. So that's how it came on to sociology.
Yes, Kasturi, even I always say this thing to my students that see, you all are very courageous. Because if you have thought of appearing in this exam, it means you are very courageous. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's good that you have given a lot of time to select your optional. Yeah, you have taken
Yeah,
like 2 3 months. Sometimes what happens is generally we just select the optional in 2 3 weeks, and then later on we regret, and then we change the optional. Yeah,
right.
that's a problem. But anyways, it's good that you should always take some time and then decide upon the option and then stick to it. Okay, so Kasturi, from a technical background to humanities, did you face a lot of challenges?
Yes, like it was difficult to firstly understand the language of humanities, because we kind of, in the practice of technology and science, we come into a like gap of 0 and 1. There's no
Mm-hmm.
point 0.5 in
Yeah.
between. So
Yeah.
that's where humanities was difficult. There's a lot of gray areas. Nothing is exactly correct or exactly wrong,
Yes.
compared to maths, where I either like attempt a correct answer or I give a wrong answer.
Yes. Yes.
But in
Yes.
sociology or other humanities also, lot of opinions come. We need a original. We need to like make an informed opinion of our choice as well.
Yeah.
Reading thinkers, understanding too much abstract concepts. So that thing I understood. Like it's not going to be easy that I just chose an humanities optional. And but the my guess that it's going to take a lot of effort, irrespective of the optional, was correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the general problem that people from technical to non-technical background they generally face,
Yes.
especially you have to write descriptive answers, as you said, like 0
Right.
and 1. That's the
Yeah.
language of your
Yeah.
computers, and here
Yes.
you have to write everything. So, when did you start test series or answer writing? Did you join some test series, Kasturi?
Yes, ma'am. Many actually. In my first attempt, tests were like majority were limited to prelims only, because I feel that's a very difficult. Uh, I personally feel that that phase is the most difficult of the all three phases for me. That's a
Mm-hmm.
elimination phase, a lot of stress. So we need to practice and acclimatize our body for those 2 hours. So in my first attempt as well, in this attempt as well, I have given a lot of prelims tests. Like I take up like 2.5 to 3 months for prelims only. And initially I do like in alternate days, one test at a time. Analysis of those tests are very important, I feel so. And in the last month, when revision becomes a little less heavier, things get into our mind and it can happen quickly. In the last month, I ensure one paper a day. Approximately in my first attempt, around 45 to 50 tests I had appeared in prelims.
Oh,
Yeah. And in this attempt, a little less, around 25 to 30, but still. And I feel that these tests actually help in retention, memory retention. And
yeah.
the mistakes we commit are more important than what's the correct thing I'm attempting. Because at least I have this tendency of remembering what mistake I did in this paper or that paper, rather than just like revising on on my strengths. And I took prelims test series from multiple institutes. A lot of them are available free. I have taken the test series of Next IAS as well. Any test series that suits your fancy. I believe that
Yeah.
practicing is very important for this.
Yeah, test series gives you a kind of a real time experience. You
Yes.
can say that, yeah, time management and
Yeah.
then tricks and all those things that you
Yes.
learn.
Yes.
And what about mains test series? Did you write mains test series also?
Yes. For mains, I took up one set of test series that had 8 full length tests. And
Hmm.
mains answer writing, ma'am, what you asked was, I did not do it before prelims in my first attempt. I was
Okay.
too scared to devote time for that. And honestly, for GS, I did not have regret for it because now we have already received the mark sheet, and it's almost on like similar lines of in my last attempt and this attempt. GS answer writing, I believe, can be done after prelims only because content is a very important thing. Prelims gives that content. We look into lot of events, current affairs, examples. These help in improving our answers. Practice can be done after prelims. So I took up one set of test series with 8 tests per GS paper 2. And similarly for sociology also, I took up for paper 1 and paper 2. Since it was my first attempt, I had a lot of revision, a lot of syllabus to be covered. I did
Mhm.
not complete the test series in sociology. And similarly, yes, GS 2 sets and sociology paper 1 I appeared 2 sets, but paper 2 I appeared only 1 set based on how time was available. My first attempt was done. In my second attempt also, I took what I did differently was for mains. One test
Mhm.
series I bought, which I gave for checking. 2 sets of paper, but we have a lot of resources today available. What I did was the questions we can take up the questions, take up GS 1 2 3 4 20 question sets. I do a lot of practice by myself also, not in the 3 hours. For 8 tests I devote 3 hours in exam environment, but other than that, more 2 sets of paper were meant for my own practice. Similarly
Hmm.
for sociology also, similarly I practiced almost 4 sets, two in exam environment and two for my in my own time, and along with how I can
With your
develop
own
my answer
comfort.
writing skill.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
say with your own comfort. Yeah,
Yes.
that is also very much required because you should be comfortable. Yeah, you should be
Yes,
comfortable
ma'am.
in writing. You should be comfortable in recalling what you have done because sometimes under examination conditions, initially when we start writing test series, we are under a lot of stress to perform. Yeah, so that
Right.
that is
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
a very good strategy, like a comfortable environment and then simultaneously
Yes.
examination environment. Good. And
Yes.
of course, like you said, like 2 3 months you have dedicated for prelims, then you have after
Yeah.
prelims for mains. That should be the strategy. Once you are preparing, I think we should have a comprehensive preparation, and then we should
Right.
focus before
Yes, ma'am.
prelims and mains and all. Yeah. And what about essays? When
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you prepare for that?
uh, One comprehensive thing, including essay also, I would like to point out, I believe a lot in content. I
Yeah.
prioritize content over my skill in how I refine my answer or how exactly beautifully I write an essay. Because I believe that if you have a strong content, even if you have a little like 0.9 to 0.99 in your answer, you will fetch good marks because your content is
Yeah.
very strong. An examiner is going to be impressed by the amount of hard work and effort you have put into to like collect all the information
Yeah.
and
Gather
content
that
in.
content. Yeah.
Yes, put it into 2 pages or 3 pages or 10 pages. For essay also, similarly, what I did was I make notes in the sense, notes are like flashy, just 2 3 pages per paper. I note some examples that are original to me. Maybe I could have collected from that newspaper or some current affairs PDF, even from static books, if it hits my mind that this is
Yeah.
maybe a history example, but that can be used in ethics. um, ethics and essay also, those examples. So I place that per paper 2 pages of that, GS1, GS2, GS3. Even for essay I made similar example. Irrespective of what questions or essay I get, these have to be relevantly put into my content to
Yeah.
like convey the examiner that I have put in the effort and hard work into that. In essay also, I did the same thing. For 2 essays I had separately 2 papers. No, one is why we have philosophical essay,
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
mostly GS related. But this time around, while we were writing, I chose both philosophical because we had limited options of GS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the trick is that I think content remains same. That we have to analyze the essay into historical perspective, political perspective, economic perspective, or we can divide based on what, where, when, how it happened, or maybe causes, consequences. If we have some new solutions for it, well, how is India going about? Why is the world backward? Similar, I make some subheadings based on the relevant subheadings based on the topic I decide, and then put in your content beautifully, which comes on later on with 2 3 essays we can practice properly finally. But above all, I feel that even if the writing style is not good, uh, like putting more effort into the content, into gathering the information and material we have, will later on improve our writing style as well.
Yeah, see, of course, I agree to you. I agree with you, Kasturi. You should have the content because at the end of
Yes.
the day, this UPSC is testing your gray matter. Yeah, you should
Yes,
have
ma'am.
and you should know how to analyze the content and writing style and all those things. They do matter, but ultimately it is your content. Yeah, that is the
Yes, ma'am.
prime focus. Okay, so Kasturi,
And
interview. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yes, ma'am.
And
I just wanted to mention something more about why I'm confidently speaking about prioritizing content is important, is because for the last two, I'm not sure about the mark sheets are out. I'm not sure exactly what is the highest, but in my
hmm,
first attempt, I like received one of the highest marks in ethics, and in this attempt also, like I'm very satisfied with the marks. It's maybe one of the highest. After the comparison, of
what are
course,
the
we'll
marks?
know.
Yeah.
And ma'am, in my first attempt, it was 127.
Hmm.
Now it's 115. So I think it's on the upper side. Why I'm sure, confidently speaking about is use a lot of examples on ethics. I just remember that in ethics, we do not have to give abstract concepts to the examiner. I do not
Yeah.
need to sound myself as an ethical thinker. The
Yeah.
examiner should be conveyed that I understand the question in simple terms. So I
Yeah.
just give the definition or a certain current affair related event in 2 3 lines. That makes my introduction. In body, I give a lot of examples. I ensure that per question at least there should be 4 examples in my ethics answers. And in also case studies, I never keep it limited to what exactly is asked in exactly. Yes, the steps are asked, but within the steps also, when we write, we can use it from maybe religion, some great books, or even history, political science, security, what's happening around the world, international relations. Everything is important when it comes to ethics. So that was how I
So
like
yes,
developed this
yes.
confidence on content.
Yeah, this essay, like essay or ethics or any GS answer also, if you're quoting some real time examples, or if you're giving some real life examples, or you're talking about some case studies, it
Yes,
shows that
ma'am.
you understand the
Yes.
thing, and you are showing the applicability application of that thing, yeah, that
Yes, ma'am.
philosophy or that question which has been asked to you. You are saying that yes, you have actually understood it, and you are showing it that see, this is how it is happening in real life by showing
Yes, ma'am.
examples. That's a great
Yes,
way
ma'am.
of expressing yourself. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the final stage interview or personality test. Yeah, your
Yes.
scores are very good. Yeah, this time your score is that I know is that your score is 184. It's a very
Yes,
decent
ma'am.
good score. So, how was your experience with the interview board, Kasturi?
This time around, I improved my interview scores like lot from the last time, and my panel.
How much is
I
the
received the
difference,
panel.
if you could share?
Ma'am,
How much
difference
is the
is
difference?
I don't exactly remember the marks in the last. It's around 23, 24 marks. I come from Odisha. The state has been lagging behind human development
Yeah.
indicators of especially tribals. I got questions about how exactly technology has to be leveraged to improve their status. Questions on women and how small and micro industries can help in women empowerment. Questions on these lines. And one very cheerful moment came in between when ma'am herself acknowledged that this room today has a women majority and we are discussing about technology, women in STEM.
Yeah,
uh,
that is what even I was
yes,
thinking, like all women
yes,
and
yeah,
technology. That's a, yeah,
yeah.
that itself
That
is
was
an
a
achievement.
beaming
Yeah.
point for me as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, panel I received was extremely cordial. And by the end of 30 minutes, I did not realize that half an hour has gone through. And when ma'am said that your interview is over, I in my mind, I was just thinking, done. So I did not feel like it went long. It was very like cheerful, calm, and composed, intellectual discussion rather than question answer session.
Yeah, even I do agree. Like, see, this is a personality test. Your personality is your thought. Yeah, how you think, and
Yes,
how you
ma'am.
think depends on your knowledge. Yeah,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
knowledge means your reading, your experience, your wisdom, everything clubbed together. So
Yes, ma'am.
personality, of course, personality test, they want someone who is well read, who has the analytical skills. So you
Yes, ma'am.
definitely need to prepare. That is why, like in our IGP programs, also very
Yes,
often
ma'am.
we have so many sessions. Like we conduct so many sessions on current affairs, on issues we discuss, because that is how you build up your opinion, and that is what is your personality. And
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
been a part of our IGP program.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
tell us,
Uh,
share your
Actually,
experience
that
with
was a
us.
turning point in my preparation as well. This time around, I decided that I'll give limited mocks, offline mocks especially. I attempted only four.
Okay.
I like scheduled it in a way that I traveled to Delhi, and I in a weekend I scheduled two, and one of in the initial ones I appeared was one of them was Next IAS. So in that the panel I received, it was an eye opener for me. I got the feedback that I'm talking well. I am a confident, and I can conversation was going on well, but certain things that are expected and I should know. Few factual things are important as well for interview,
Yeah.
which I had not revised. Was the feedback I got from the panel that we need to the budget came in just
Yeah. Budget.
soon around the time, yeah, and I was not ready with the numbers, and that is something was expected from a candidate. So after that it came as in a like change in my preparation strategy. I started revising the content as well, so that at least the elaboration or the speaking way which is good enough, I wanted that to be better and best as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful the panel gave this feedback, and I started revising a lot of stuff, and it actually gave me a lot of confidence on the interview day.
Mhm. So it's great that you have learned like new things here in the IGP program, which has helped
Yes,
you to
ma'am.
get very good scores in the actual interview with UPSC. So now that the prelims are near,
Yes,
28,
ma'am.
today's 25th. So what message you have to convey to the aspirants who are appearing for the prelims, and otherwise also those who are preparing for civil services? What
Yes, ma'am.
is your like you can say motivation speech to them or motivation words to them?
Ma'am, I'll just speak some words because since the prelims is just 3 days away, there should not be any change in strategy. Uh, for prelims, I personally had this attitude that mm, you need a lot of confidence in yourself, in myself, when I was appearing also for those 2 hours. I have seen that Hindi movie Chak De India. There's this
Yeah,
famous dialogue of Saruk Khan that
it's
like
seven
goes on in
minutes
my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
like this these 2 hours I enter the examination hall with like a lot of pride, and like just have this feeling of I am the best and I am going to like reverse the world today in my own hands. I think that attitude is required for prelims because we have a lot of stress, and decision making plays a very important role. We need this adrenaline rush so that we make decisions faster and finish the 100 all questions in time, because prelims is getting lengthier with time. Lot of elimination and like knowledge no, with, guesswork with knowledge has to happen. So the thing is, I just want like the aspirants to believe in themselves. If they
yeah,
have prepared well enough in the last 1 year, they have sufficient information that they can at least attempt 30 to 40 questions, which every aspirant attempts. These are like the ones that we cannot afford to lose. These are these 30-35 questions. I had this like if I am attempting that in the first round, 30 to 35, I feel I boom myself with pride that yes, my preparation was right, and now the knowledge I'm using for guesswork will be put in the right direction. So yes, just have that confidence within you, that and prelims like is the questions are today, if we read the questions, a lot of basic static preparation is required, and that every aspirant does with the basic books. If we have that knowledge, then you can use that to analyze for other questions. And yes, if the tests were a lot, practices were a lot, then you're the best for the day. just own those 2 hours, and it will go in a good direction.
Yeah, Kasturi, very well said. Like, we should be calm that day. We should be composed that day.
Yes.
We should be confident,
Yes.
neither over nor under.
Yes.
So, all the best to you, Kasturi. It was nice talking to you. And once again, lots of congratulations to you, Kasturi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kasturi. Thank you.